All right, grade 7, here we go. We are going to look at translating expressions into equations. And that is using variables, that is using an algebraic equation in order to solve something because you haven't been given all of the information. So if we read these sentences carefully, we can get the information that we need to write an equation. So if 5 less, well, we know that would be subtract 5, then twice a number, I read that, is 17 equals 17. We're asking, what is that number? Well, you've learned how to solve these quite easily. So if we have 2n minus 5 equals 17, you would add 5 to this side, add 5 to this side, and you would get 2n equals 22, in which case you would divide both by 2 and find out that n equals 11. So what are we finding out? That what is that number? That number equals 11. So let's move to the second example. So a taxi company charges $1.50 plus $3 per mile metered at tenths of a mile. Write an equation that relates to the total fare in in dollars to the number of miles m of a taxi ride. So we want to figure out what the fare is. So the fare would be your $1.50 plus your $3 per mile. And now it says use that equation to find the fare for a 6.4 mile ride. So here we go. Fare equals 1.5, that's your $1.50 startup, plus the $3 times the 6.4. So we would wind up getting 1.5 plus, and we put 3 times 6.4 into our calculators, and we get 19.2. So we add those two together and we get 20.7. So if you can figure that into dollars, it's going to cost $20.70 to go 6.4 miles on that taxi. The last example that I have here is the angles marked x and 2x in this figure, not future, are marked supplementary. What is the measure of the larger angle? So we're going to have to use this information that we have here to write our formula. Now we know that supplementary means that adding them together, they're going to equal 180 degrees because a line is 180 degrees. So we can write it this way: 2x plus x equals 180. Now we can solve for x finding this out because we had 2x plus x is 3x equals 180, and then we divide both sides by 3, x equals 60. So now it's asking us what is 2x, right? So 2x equals 2 times 60, and that would equal 120 degrees. So you can see that we used all the information that we had available for us in order to solve this problem. Okay, let's try the practice set. They're going to write the language a little bit different, but we should be able to figure this out. So it says 6 more, which is plus 6, then the product of a number and 3. So we want to go 3 times a number plus 6 is 30. What is the number? Well, you can see that what we get is this. All right, 3n plus 6 equals 30. We go 3n, and we have to take away 6 from both sides, so that would be 24. And then we'd have to divide both sides by 3, right? So n would equal 8. So you can see our steps here is we would have subtract 6 from both sides, and then we divide both sides by 3. Okay. The next one, you can try it on your own if you're about ready. All right, here we go. 10 less than half of what number is 30? So 10 less is minus 10. Half what number? So 1/2 of a number is 30. Okay, so let's solve this. The first thing that we're going to do, and I'll make it bigger, half a number minus 10 equals 30. The first thing we're going to do is add 10 to both sides. All right, so we get half n equals 40. You can see that these cancel each other out. All right, now in order to get rid of our half, remember we have to multiply it by its reciprocal. So that would cancel this completely out, and we would times this one by its reciprocal, which means that n would have to equal 80. And that finds your solution over there. All right, let's move on to the next one. It says, what is the measure of the smallest angle in this figure? So when we take a look at this figure, we can see that the smallest angle is going to be 2x. Okay, using the information that we have, it's fairly easy to see that this here, just looking at it, is 90 degrees, right? Which would mean that if we talked about supplementary angles earlier, that means that this whole measure is going to be 180, which means that this here is 90 as well. So using that information, we can write a formula, right? 2x plus 3x equals 90, which means that 5x equals 90. So in order to go further on that, we have to divide 90 by 5 in order to find out what x is. So do we divide this side by 5? We divide this side by 5, and we get x equals 18. But we're not finished, because what they're asking us is what is that angle. So now that we know that x is 18, we add it to that formula. 2 times 18 equals 36 degrees. So the smaller angle is 36 degrees. So you can see how you grab all of that information to get to your answer. All right, here it says, find the measure of each angle in this triangle. Remember, we have to think our way through this one. What do we know about the angles in a triangle? So far, we have learned that the angles of triangle equals 180. So we know that information. Well, that's going to help us out, because if we have x plus 2x plus 3x equals 180, right? So now that we have that information, we go x plus 2x is 3x plus another 3x. We find out that 6x equals 180. That would mean that we have to divide both sides by 6, and that would tell us that x equals 30. But that's not all we have to find out. We have to find out 2x is going to be 2 times 30, which is 60, and 3x is 3 times 30, which is 90. And if you look at that triangle, those angles make sense. This is a right triangle. So we'll add our little degrees on there, and then we're finished with this one. All right, moving to the next one, the last one. An online movie ticket charges a store. I think it says online ticket service. Service. Charges $8 per ticket plus a $2 transaction fee. Write an equation that relates to the price, P, of buying tickets, T, through this service. Use the equation to find the cost of 5 tickets. So we're going to go look at our price equals $8 per ticket plus $2. There's your formula. Now it's asking us to find the cost of 5 tickets. So we're going to change our formula. So we have P equals 8 times 5 tickets plus 2. So that's 8 times 5 equals 40 plus 2. Our price is going to be $42 in total. So there is your practice set taken care of, grade 7. I would like you to work through all of the odds in this one, and as always, I am available on Google Meet to answer any of the questions that you have.